Tonight on CTV News, EQC in the spotlight again. A major change for a well-known Canterbury charity.
Broadcasting across Canterbury. From the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening, welcome to CTV News live streaming at ctv.co.nz. Labor is calling for a Royal Commission of Inquiry into dodgy EQC repairs. Megan Woods, Labor's acting EQC spokeswoman, says the party supporting calls by Canterburyans for an inquiry due to substandard repairs.
Why are you calling for a Royal Commission of Inquiry?
Look, there's so many questions, so many allegations and just swirling around at the moment around EQC, its dealings and what has happened. I think it's really important that we get to the bottom of this for a couple of reasons. First of all, we have to give certainty to individuals that have had their house repairs done so they can get on with their lives, which is hugely important. But also we have to learn from what's happened in Canterbury. We've got to take the opportunity to ask the hard questions, to get to the bottom of it and find out when another disaster strikes New Zealand how we can do this better. I'm perplexed why it is that the Minister just continues to sit on the sidelines and won't respond to these calls. It just seems a sensible way to put some of these questions to rest once and for all.
I mean, what needs to be done?
What needs to be done is that we need to have a look at systemically at how EQC has operated. We've got allegations ranging from shonky repairs to inadequate scopings to the way that EQC actually operated itself as an organisation. And these are all questions that need to be looked at, and it needs to be an independent inquiry. That the reviews that have happened to date have all been answerable to the Minister. The call that's been put out for a Royal Commission differs in that would actually be answerable to Parliament, not the Minister in question. And I think whoever is in government, it's vitally important that we don't leave these questions swirling around, because ultimately it just leaves people feeling uneasy about the very place that they're meant to feel safe, and that's their homes.
And tonight on Lynched at 8:30, Labor's Megan Wood joins me along with lawyer Duncan Webb to discuss the ongoing EQC delays and issues. Well, excitement is building with the Christchurch Town Hall development finally getting underway, so we take a moment to remember its rich history. Chelsea Daniels has this story.
With the contract between the Christchurch City Council and Hawkins Construction now signed, the city should expect a fully restored town hall in the next 3 years. Warren and Mahoney have been a part of the construction of the Christchurch Town Hall from day one, and Managing Director Peter Marshall says they are thrilled to continue to be involved.
We've been involved with the Christchurch Town Hall for many, many decades now. In fact, we were underway with the refurbishment and re-strengthening of the Town Hall prior to the earthquakes beginning. So consequently, following the earthquakes, there was that hiatus period, and then the council basically resurrected the team who were already involved with the refurbishment and got us working on what was needed.
A total of $127.5 million has been budgeted for the project, with $68.9 million funded by an insurance payout and the remainder through ratepayers' contributions.
With what's happened in Christchurch and the loss that's occurred with much of our urban fabric, it's really important that in a new city there is still some of the remnants of what we had, what makes Christchurch who it was and what it's going to be in the future. And so identifying and being able to do something about those critical buildings, whether it's the Arts Centre, the museum, the Town Hall, we can debate the cathedral or not, but there are just certain buildings, and I believe, and probably more than buildings too, spaces as well, just to be able to hold on to what Christchurch was.
The Category 1 heritage building was originally opened in 1972 and has played a part in just about every Cantabrian's life.
For the city, it was probably the major project that was built for the city in a purpose-made venue. It was designed locally, constructed locally, the most wonderfully articulated drawings, and the process of both designing, documenting and building was quite extraordinary for its time.
He says the building was revolutionary of its time in the late 60s.
It really is still a world-class acoustic venue. I mean, that's the staggering thing, is that, you know, it's still voted as probably the 10th most important and significant auditorium in the world. and Harold Marshall, who was the original acoustic consultant. He's still working today. He's still working in various venues around the world today, and he still holds that one as one of his favourite.
While Harold Marshall is currently working on an opera house in Paris, he will be back for consultations regarding the Christchurch Town Hall. Historic Warren and Mahoney plans are on display at the Langmasters Hollywood 3 Theatre, where local documentary maker Sam Miller's feature documentary, entitled Charles Looney, Master Builder, previewed this week.
The drawings are special, as I've alluded to already. They're beautifully prepared, and it was a significant commission for the practice, and obviously they spent a lot of time and effort to actually just do things properly and beautifully detailed and thought through.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Well, some positive news. Environment Canterbury says it's recorded fewer high pollution days than in previous years. And Christchurch and Ashburton had the lowest number of high pollution days and the lowest winter concentrations since ECAN began its monitoring. Kaiapoi and Rangiora also recorded the lowest winter concentrations on record, and there's been only 3 high pollution days in Rangiora this year. ECAN's Commissioner David Bedford says people are transitioning to more efficient home heating options, and those who choose to burn wood to heat their homes are now learning the benefits of burning smoke-free. Over the past few winters, ECAN has been working closely with wood burner users, teaching them how to achieve a hotter fire and help reduce air pollution. Well, Canterbury Community Trust changes their name tonight, the first major change in the charity in its 27-year history. Chelsea Daniels reports.
The Canterbury Community Trust has announced a historic change in its 27-year-old life.
Today's a really special day for us. We're changing our name. We're also announcing our annual results for the end of the financial year. So the name change, we're moving from the Canterbury Community Trust to Rata Foundation. First time we've changed our name, or major change, since we started in 1988.
As New Zealand's second largest philanthropic organisation, they cater to a much larger bracket than Canterbury.
And one of the issues we had, I suppose, with our name as Canterbury Community Trust, it didn't fully reflect all of our funding regions. So we cover Nelson, Marlborough, Chatham Islands and Canterbury. So for people living in those other regions, they didn't really feel like they belonged to us. So it's been quite a major exercise, but we feel that our name more fully reflects our inclusiveness and involves everyone in our 4 funding regions.
She says the organisation felt the confusion, especially throughout the aftermath of the quakes.
A lot of our applications actually dropped off because I think a lot of our applicants thought, well, the money belongs to Christchurch and they've been through a disaster, so we won't apply this year. But the reality is we were set up 27 years ago from the sale of the Canterbury Savings Bank, and that bank covered Nelson, Marlborough, Chatham Islands and Canterbury. So under our trust deed, we actually have to fund across all of those regions equitably. So we need to be fair across the way we give out money across all of the regions.
So, why did they go with Rata?
The name Rata has a really strong New Zealand identity. The tree itself, of course, has a brilliant flowering display in the forest. Its beautiful red flowers are well known to many New Zealanders. We felt it gave an organic sense to the foundation as well, and that the tree's always growing. The trunk also is always supporting the tree and is a foundation for us to grow on.
Over the last financial year, the Trust has helped 1,213 organisations with grants totalling $24.2 million.
We've had a really good year. Our investments have returned $10.1 million, which is the highest it's been since the global financial crisis and the second highest of our reserves since we started. So really good financial results. Not quite sure that this year is going to be as good, but at least now we've got some reserves in the bank that helps us for the rainy day.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Well, the Christchurch City Council is seeking public opinion about a proposal to add another district to the Banks Peninsula ward. But how will that affect current councillor Andrew Turner? Here's Chelsea Daniels.
Consultation has opened on citywide changes to ward and community board boundaries ahead of next year's City Council elections.
There was some conversation about splitting the Banks Peninsula ward. One of the dangers of doing that would be that you potentially dilute the rural and small settlement communities with larger urban communities. Yes, my ward is geographically large at the moment, and yes, there is quite a lot of time spent travelling. The addition to the ward in the proposal is an urban addition and is quite concentrated, so it wouldn't add a lot in terms of travel time. And I've always said one of the reasons I'm able to do my job effectively at the moment, despite that large geographical area, is because I've got good relationships with the two community board chairs.
The council are looking to increase the number of wards and councillors from 13 to 16, and Turner says there have been mixed views.
The position that Council have gone out with for consultation has been the result of a number of debates, and different number of councillors were discussed, and the proposal as it's gone out is the one that was agreed by Council to go out for consultation, and we certainly look forward to hearing what the people of Christchurch and Banks Peninsula have got to say about that.
An average day for the Banks Peninsula councillor means a lot of travel time between different suburbs, something that the other councillors don't necessarily have to factor in. Turner is the only councillor in the Banks Peninsula ward, the only ward with just one councillor.
Correct. So I'm one councillor with two community boards. Every other current ward is two councillors and one community board. Yeah, and that reflects the geographical size of the ward.
But Turner says that it's all a matter of time management.
I don't know whether that's a bigger issue for me than it is for other councillors. The one thing that is different for me is the amount of travel time. Every time I drive out to Akaroa, that's an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back, maybe a little bit more. And that's time that isn't really time that can productively be spent doing anything other than driving. But you just factor it in. And as I say, what I do is to make the most of the time that I'm in those places, having driven there.
The public can comment on the proposal until 5 p.m. on October 9th and can submit online. Submitters can also speak to the council in person during the hearings late next month. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Well, still to come here on CTV News, Gordon is here with your local sports and Mercy with the all-important weather forecast. Welcome back to CTV News. Boy races are once again causing a headache in Littleton and Governor's Bay. Residents are fed up with the Christchurch hoons. One resident spoke to CTV News just about how bad they can be.
Governor's Bay residents have experienced sleepless nights for over a year now. And although an increased police presence has helped curb the issue in recent months, they are worried the boy races are creeping back. Local residents have had enough.
And they get down the bottom of the hill and they screech round and round and round at the bottom of the hill. We were coming back on Friday night from town at midnight. We were passed on a blind corner by two boy race cars, two separate cars, whipped past us, and my husband dooted the horn and they all gave the fingers out the window. And then they were all collected up in the, at the top there by the sign of the Kiwi, Tākei, whichever it is. And I just had to hold my husband back from going in there and having a word to them. I said, no, drive by, because they're quite aggressive.
The residents also believe there is a link between an increase in car theft in the area and the boy racer activity. The windy hill roads have now become a haven since the Christchurch earthquakes, with the 4 avenues around Christchurch being cracked down on.
They found other places to go, and it's fun to go just shooting down the hill and around those blind corners. And it's a great little venue. And on the whole, there's no, because there's only one way into Governor's Bay and one way out. It's sort of they can have a bit of fun, yeah, really. And they screech around. They go around Littleton Way and then come back round again, do a bit of a circuit.
Well, Littleton will soon have a sledge dog in its town city centre to celebrate its connections with Antarctica. The bronze sculpture, which will be slightly bigger than the Antarctic husky seen in this photo, will symbolise the courage, energy and teamwork dedicated by our early settlers and explorers. It is being created by local artist Mark White and will sit outside the Littleton Library on the corner of London and Canterbury streets.
2013 was when it really first was talked about fully. It's an idea that's been discussed for a long time, but 2013 was really when the discussion started for real. And there's been a number of community people in Littleton have been involved in decision making around this. A Littleton member of the local branch of the Antarctic Society has really driven the project, and then it's been through the community board and a working party of the community board, and then obviously a community board recommendation before coming to council last Thursday. So yeah, Thursday's decision really represented the end of quite a long journey for this particular piece of work.
A local flight centre has been named as the top New Zealand retailer. The Barrington branch received the accolade at the Retail New Zealand Top Shop Awards. The flight centre says travel is booming in Christchurch, coinciding with recent news from Christchurch International Airport that it's doubled its profits. Debbie Moore, who is the team leader from the Barrington branch, says they're in the golden era of travel at the moment, with many destinations more accessible than ever before and more competitively priced than ever before. Well, brace yourself, I'm about to say the C word. With just 101 sleeps left until Christmas, registration's now open for this year's Santa Run. Last year's event raised over $40,000 to help Kids Can continue its good work supporting disadvantaged Kiwi kids. The just under 3 kilometre run is on the 2nd of December at Hagley Park. So to sort yourself out, get yourself a Santa suit, mark the event on your calendar and register at the website santarun.co.nz. And we'll bring you the air rescue story on tomorrow's program. Well, here's Gordon Finlater with the weekend sporting action.
Well, starting with rugby tonight, and Canterbury came out on top when two form teams met in the 5th round of the ITM Cup at AMI Stadium. Taking on ITM Championship leaders and current Ranfurly Shield holders Hawke's Bay, the Cantabs seized the early initiative, grabbing the first try of the night less than 2 minutes in.
With Laulala and Moody in the front row tonight, what a line that is! Robbie Thompson making them look silly! Oh!
A set play from Canterbury provided the first points, with Richie Mwanga putting through Rob Thompson at pace, the second 5 then sidestepping his way to the try line. The home crowd didn't have to wait long to see their side on the board again. This time it was the boot of first 5 Mwanga providing the brilliance as he put in winger Tololo to make it 14-zip. Canterbury were in once again before the break, another set piece, and this time it was Matt Todd running through Hawke's Bay's gaping defensive hole from a line-out.
There's the try to Matt Todd. What is happening here?
At 22 points to nil at half-time, the game was all but over, with the only question whether or not Canterbury could find a 4th try bonus point. Into the second 40, and it was Joe Moody that would capture the bonus point for his side, a low drive on the fringe of the Hawke's Bay line, sealing a clinical display. Hawke's Bay did do themselves some justice in the second period, with 2 tries ensuring that they wouldn't leave as the victims of a whitewash. The final score on Saturday night, Canterbury 29, Hawke's Bay 14. On to Rugby League now, and the Canterbury Bulls remain unbeaten in their bid for a 2nd consecutive national title. Sunday's win against the Akarana Falcons could prove pivotal in this year's campaign, with the much-fancied Aucklanders humbled at AMI Stadium. The Bulls survived an early wave of pressure, including 2 disallowed Akarana tries, before seizing the initiative to take an 18-6 lead into the break. The Bulls continued to do the job in the second, with Canterbury ending up comfortable winners 34 points to 18. Bulls coach Daryl Code knows just how big the win is in the context of his team's season.
It was great to get that win. Doesn't matter who Auckland bring down or Akarana bring down, they're always tough. And, you know, they were tough yesterday, but I think the way we trained last week and, you know, mentally getting over them last year as well for this game was probably helped. You know, we realised that we can beat them, and we realised, you know, if we want to go any further in this campaign, that, you know, we make the final, we need to beat these big sides. So, yeah, the guys are pretty focused, and I think that's a lot of the reasoning behind why they did the job they did yesterday.
Well, it wasn't the podium finish we were all hoping for, but Hayden Paddon only increased his credentials on the world stage at the weekend's Rally of Australia. The Flying Kiwi got off to a solid start on day one, but struggled with his differential setup, causing balance issues. It was day two of the rally that Paddon's talents came to the forefront as he set the fastest times on the day's first two stages, including the event's longest, a mammoth 50-kilometre challenge. Paddon found himself in fifth heading into the rally's final day, just under 20 seconds off the rally leader. While he was unable to make a push for the podium on day three, Paddon did maintain his position to finish fifth overall, 55 seconds behind eventual rally winner Sebastian Ogier. The most telling stat from Paddon's rally, though, will be how he compared to his Hyundai teammates, with Thierry Neuville and Danny Sordo both over a minute behind the Kiwi. And finally tonight, Timaru shot putter Tom Walsh showed further signs of why he should be a serious threat at next year's Rio Olympics. Walsh claimed his first Diamond League title over the weekend in Brussels, defeating world champion Joe Kovacs on the way. Just 4 centimetres separated the top three, and it was Walsh at the top with a throw of 21.39 metres on his third attempt. The win for Walsh comes on the back of a fourth-place finish at the World Track and Field Championships in Beijing. Well, you're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
Thanks, Gordon. Now Mercy's here with a look at your regional weather forecast.
Kia ora, Canterbury. Well, today we had a little bit of low cloud in the morning, which cleared in the afternoon. That lovely sunshine came out. We also saw some gusty northwesterly winds for inland places. Today's high is 13 degrees for everyone here, apart from you, Twizel, you were on 10. 13 degrees also for Christchurch, Darfield, Methven and Ashburton. 12 degrees today for Akaroa and Leaston. Lovely sunny skies also as we head further north today. 13 degrees was the high for Kaikoura, Cheviot, Culverden and Hanmer Springs, a little bit more for Amberley, Rangiora and Oxford on 14 degrees. Over to the mountain ranges, 10 degrees for Lake Tekapo and 12 for you, Mount Cook. Tomorrow's weather for Timaru, we're seeing sunny skies with a bit of cloud there. Northerly winds and 18 degrees is your high, so lovely and warm. Spring temperatures definitely coming out. Ashburton, a lovely warm high for you as well. Northerly winds throughout the day and a few cloudy patches, but mostly sunny breaks. Christchurch, you can also expect a mild, fine day for your Tuesday. Northwesterly winds and 19 degrees for the high. Maybe get your summer dresses out, ladies. And looking to Kaikoura, 18 degrees for you and sunny skies there with a bit of cloud out and about. That sunshine will also be present for the rest of the Canterbury region. South Canterbury, a few northerly winds, a little bit of drizzle there for Twizel, 18 degrees for you, Temuka and Geraldine. Central Canterbury, a lovely day in store for you as well. 19 degrees is the warm high for Darfield with sunny skies. Northerly winds coming through the afternoon for everyone else. Heading further north, it gets better up here as well. Tomorrow we're seeing those northwesterly winds for Hanmer Springs and lovely sunny skies for you and Oxford. 19 degrees there for Culverden. And over to the Alpine region, a little bit of rain here and it could be a bit heavier for Arthur's Pass, that rain. The upcoming days are also looking lovely, sunny and mild. 18 degrees is the trend for the temperatures, apart from you, Kaikoura, 17 17. Northwesterly winds gusting through the afternoon, but they should be easing off in the evening. Thursday, we're also seeing quite nice warm temperatures, 19 degrees for Christchurch and Ashburton there. Looking to the rest of the Canterbury region for the upcoming days. Wednesday, we're seeing these northerly winds across the board and a few northwesterlies as we head further north. They could be easing during the afternoon, and we could be seeing a wee bit of a southerly change in the evening, bringing a few showers with it. Thursday, those northwesterlies are back there for South Canterbury, a little bit southerly though as we head further north, but we are seeing those lovely sunny skies, and that low cloud will be present as well. So over the next few days, we're expecting lovely sunshine and warm temperatures. That spring is definitely here, and hopefully we'll continue to see these warm temperatures as the week goes on. And that's your weather for Monday.
Thanks, Mercy. Don't forget to join me on Lynched at 8:30 tonight. And you can find all our stories here at ctv.co.nz. But from everybody from the news team, you have a great night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.